Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast with Phil Graham. We help you master Facebook ads and give you an unfair advantage over your competition. Are you ready? Let's go.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast, episode 229. I'm Phil Graham. Got a great show for you guys today. I'm going to be sharing how you can run Facebook ads like Gary V. A lot of people misunderstand Gary Vaynerchuk and think he is all about organic only. That is completely false, not true at all. He's a huge believer in ads and people do it wrong. And I'm going to share how you can not only do it like him, but also do it the right way. And I'm excited about today's episode. It should be a fun one. So I'm recording this on Monday, September 27th, 2021. We are in full swing in the fall season here in the US. And I hope you guys are doing really well. If you guys have not listened to last week's episode on how you can dominate Facebook ads in the upcoming holiday season, make sure you check that out, by the way. It's not just for e-commerce. Anybody who runs ads or has a business should be listening to that show. So make sure you catch last week's episode as well. If you guys want to connect, maybe you're looking for some one-on-one coaching so you can finally learn ads the right way. There's so much misinformation and horrible scammers out there and just fake gurus everywhere. There's horrible information out there. So maybe you're tired of all that and you want to learn ads the right way, or maybe you want somebody to actually run your ads for you, a professional that you can actually trust. For either of those things, you can go to my website, philgrahamdigital.com, or you can DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital and we will connect. So with that being said, my friends, I want to jump right into the episode and make this short, sweet, and very actionable for you guys. And let's talk about how you can run ads like Gary V. So a lot of people misunderstand Gary Vaynerchuk, and that is a big mistake. They see him posting organically all the time on pretty much every platform there is, and they try and just emulate that. And they get frustrated because they post over and over and over again every day through days, weeks, months, and for some people, even years, yet they're not having any kind of success. And they get frustrated and they wonder why. Well, he started like 15 plus years ago, more than 15 years ago, when there was much less content. Whereas now in this day and age, there's billions of new pieces of content all the time. What people don't understand is that Gary V is a huge believer in ads. And he said what I'm going to say next before, and I have said this for years, but I believe that video ads especially are the best, most undervalued way to reach your audience and sell things and create an audience and reach your market. In this day and age, late 2021, video ads are the best number one way to go. And a lot of people, like I said, they want to copy what they see, but they don't realize that he's the first one to tell you that ads are amazingly effective. And he said this before. So I'm going to share with you some things you can do to advertise like he does. And not only like he does, but like how I do and how the right way to advertise is. So one of my main messages is you don't have to toil away on organic social for years with literally small chances of success and relying on hope and chance. And it usually doesn't happen for most people. Now, if you enjoy organic social media, you can do it. There's nothing wrong with it. However, if you're wanting to build a business or increase your sales, there's much quicker, better ways to go about it, like scaling and leveraging ad campaigns the right way. If you do it the wrong way, it can just cost you money, obviously. So let's talk about how you can run ads like Gary V. Okay, number one, you've got to know your audience. This is very, very important. Who are they? Where are they? Where do they spend their time? What platforms are they on? What are the things that interest them? You know, there's different platforms. I believe in Facebook and Instagram a lot. However, I have clients that we also run ads for on YouTube and Google and TikTok and Snapchat and many other platforms. All are good platforms. You've got to figure out who your audience is and where they are and where they're spending a lot of their time. Now, this is specifically a Facebook and Instagram ads podcast, but I do run ads everywhere. But I will say Facebook and Instagram, I believe, are the best places to reach an audience for most people, unless your target market is maybe like in the teens, in which case it's probably TikTok. So know who they are, where they are, what platforms they like, and also what interests they have. This is very important. Most people actually don't really know this, or if they do, they don't actually tailor their campaigns to this kind of information. It's pretty crazy. So the action point on this would be, number one, you want to identify all that. And you can do that, number one, by, if you have current customers, you can ask them, or you can dig into the data if you've got the right kinds of data and find out yourself. Or number two, if you don't have a lot of customers yet or clients, then you can figure out who your ideal customer or client is in terms of who you want to work with, and then figure out, okay, where are these types of people spending their time? What do they like, et cetera. And I want you to create like 5 different customer avatars on a Google document or something, and have a number of different avatars for your ideal customers. What platforms are they on? What do they like? What don't they like? Where do they shop? All these different things, and create these avatars, age, demographics, all that stuff. And then what I want you to do is I want you to create some very specific ads. I call them micro content ads, and match the ad copy to the avatar of your audience. So for example, let's say you were going to advertise to moms who like yoga and maybe like Peloton, for example, and shop at Lululemon and in a certain age range. That would be a potential micro content audience. And you would match your ad copy to the exact type of person. And you would have a different one for somebody else. And then you want to do these micro content ads targeting that micro content audience. And you don't want to just do one. You want to have multiple options, because you've got to identify what's going to work best. And the only way to do that is to actually send ads to them. We also obviously still send ads to large, broad audiences as well. That's part of our strategy, but you've got to do both if you want to be the most successful. So make sure that you guys know your audience. That's very important. And then you've got to test what is effective in getting their attention. So that's step one. Step two, and I'm really glad that Gary Vee agrees with this. He's always said this and truly believes it. Some people say it and they don't believe it. He believes it and he does it, just like I do it as well. You always want to lead with value first, always. He's written books on it. He's done it for many years, and I've done it myself as well. But you want to create valuable content in your ads and on your landing pages before you ask for anything, even an email address. Before even asking for an email address, give them value. It is so important, my friends. I've said it a long time, yet so few people still know how to do this or do it effectively. You've got to give value first. Most people end up just going straight for a sale, straight for an opt-in without giving value. And when you do that, you are literally, in most cases, setting yourself up for failure, and you don't want to do that. Here's something to really think about. Imagine you were, a lot of people do this. They create this content that they put out on organic that's like really interesting content, really good content. And part of the problem is you can't control who sees it or how many people see it or what types of people who follow you see it. And so you can't get a good, clear picture of whether it's actually going to help you or not. So let's say you actually take similar content and actually run that as an ad and direct it exactly to the exact types of people who are your ideal customers. Guess what? You will know, because you'll be able to guarantee, if you're spending money, that you're going to get reach. You're going to have that data. It's not going to be guessing. It's not going to be hope. You're not going to be wondering if people saw it or how many people did. You're going to know exactly how many people saw it. And that gives you valuable data. What a lot of people make the mistake of doing is when they go to run ads, instead of posting some really good ad content that they might do organically, since they're spending money, they go straight into sales pitch mode. And instead of posting the great stuff, they run ads that are just sales pitches because they're spending money. Huge mistake. Lead with value first, always. I love creating value bomb ads and landing pages that gives value before I even ask for an email address, much less a sale. There was actually a time I created a video, and it was a short video, but it was like, it had an amazing audience targeting hack for Facebook ads. And I gave that away for free. And somebody saw that and said that they actually got more value out of my free video than they did a $4,000 Facebook ads course that they paid for. So when I'm talking about giving value, I walk the talk, and you guys should be doing that too. Now, and Gary Vee does that as well, of course. Now, here's something to consider. Giving value can come in many different forms. Obviously, if you're educating anybody, that's easy. When it comes to ads or teaching you guys entrepreneurial stuff, I can teach things in ads and on landing pages, and that's a no-brainer way to give value. But there's also other ways. Sometimes you guys are in other types of businesses that don't necessarily involve teaching somebody something. Maybe you've got an e-commerce shop or your local business. How can you give value? Well, you can do that many different ways. Number one, you can give value by inspiring somebody. You could also give value by giving somebody hope. You could also give value by entertaining somebody or improving their day in some way. There's so many different ways to do it. So what I want you guys to do is think about what is the best way that you can give value in an ad, like in the actual ad itself, give value, and then also on the landing page. And then create that ad and start running it and see what happens. It can change your life. You've obviously have to do it right. You got to test and do many things, but that's one of the foundational keys of success. So make sure you lead with value first. Number three, you've got to test your messaging. That's very, very important. True success from ads, and really with anything that you do, comes through hard work, testing, and evaluating that data. That actually becomes a skill. How good you get at testing and doing data evaluation when you're running ads, that becomes a skill, and you've got to be skilled at that. You strategically put out content and ads, especially ads, and then test what's happening with them. That's the beautiful part about ads. You can't really test very well with organic, because when you do it organically, let's say it doesn't do very well. Well, maybe it didn't get put in front of that many people for whatever reason, because of the algorithm that day. Or maybe it got put in front of the wrong people. But if it would have been put in front of the right people, it would have done great. You don't know. With ads, you will know, because you can direct it to the right people. And then you can test to see what got their attention and what didn't. And then you can adjust what you're doing based off of that data. That's so important. You can scale to the moon with this. When you're testing different audiences, different ad angles, different copy, different headlines and videos and images and all that kind of stuff, and you're getting guaranteed reach because you're paying for those eyeballs, the most undervalued way, best way to do it, then you take that data, you get really good at evaluating it, and then making better decisions with more data, and then doing more based off of what you see. That's a game changer, my friends. And so few people do it. So you want to commit to testing. What I recommend is you should create a dashboard. I've got one of these. I'm going to eventually make sure and share it with you guys at some point. But in the meantime, maybe start up like a Google Sheet. And for every ad you run, you want to have all the data in there, the click-through rate, the CPM, the cost per click, the reach, frequency, all that stuff. And you want to start looking for trends over time. And you want to compare and do testing in a way that makes sense. Most people don't even test. And then the few that do it wrong. You should always know why an ad didn't work or why it did work. You should always know. Is it the audience? Is it the ad copy? Is it something else? You always should know. And if you don't know, you're not doing it right. So you want to make sure you commit to testing your messaging. And not just your messaging, you test everything. You test your audience, you test your landing page, everything. Okay, Number 4, you should be committing to retargeting and playing the long game when it comes to Facebook ads. This is also something Gary Vee talks about all the time, playing the long game. You're not in this, or at least you shouldn't be in this for a one-night stand. You should be in this for the long haul, giving value, playing that long game. And the best way to do that is through retargeting ads. So when you run an ad, I look at that as like a first conversation with a stranger. And when you meet somebody who's a stranger, you guys have a first conversation. Okay, you've met, but you're still not that comfortable with them in most cases. What has to change for you to actually feel really comfortable with somebody and become better friends, for example? Usually it's more conversations, getting together and spending more time together. Well, in the business world and in the ad game, I look at retargeting ads like second and third conversations and so on. It's additional exposure between you and your ideal customers and clients. And the more they see you, as long as you're actually giving value and putting good things in front of them, you're not just spamming them with sales pitches like most people do. The more they see you, the more comfortable they're going to be with you, and they're going to start to know, like, and trust you. And when that happens, the chances of you selling them and helping them are way higher than if you just try and do that all from the very beginning with just one ad that tries to sell them. Most people run ads, and if they don't get an immediate result, they think it doesn't work. That's literally like planting a tomato seed. And if you can't pick the tomato the next day, you think something is wrong with the seed. It's like, well, no, you didn't give it the time. You didn't water it. You didn't pull the weeds. If you do the right things, the tomatoes are going to grow. And so you definitely should be committing to retargeting. So the action point on this is establish a few retargeting campaigns. We like to do a couple different types. We do micro retargeting, where it's very specific to an audience or a specific ad we're retargeting, and we're matching our copy to that. And then we also do more broad retargeting, which is retargeting everybody in the warm audience. And then obviously other things too, like abandoned cart retargeting and things like that. So make sure you launch retargeting campaigns, you test the effectiveness of those campaigns, and you adjust based off of what the data is telling you, and know that you play the long game. That's the best way to succeed. Okay, number 5, 2 more to go. Number 5 is do you. This is huge. You know, a lot of people think they have to be like Gary Vee to succeed, and that's not true. Look at different people in the world. Like Gary Vee's one style of person with his energy and things like that. What's another style? I would say like Mark Zuckerberg is the opposite style. He is nothing like Gary Vee. He's more quiet and reserved, more like an introvert. And guess what? He's made billions of dollars. And Gary Vee says this too. He's like, do you, don't be fake. Find out what you're good at and double down on those strengths. And that's what you should be doing. Don't be fake. Please don't be like those cringy, scammy, fake gurus out there that are pitching get rich quick crap. You'll notice I never do that. Even if it would bring more views or whatever, that's not me. You know, it's kind of like, hey, you could rob a bank, but should you? No, like it's not the right thing to do. So don't do it. You can succeed being you. You can make lots of money doing it your way, being you. So whatever your personality is, maybe you feel like you're great in front of the camera, then you want to double down on that. Or maybe you're not. If that's not you, there's ways to go about it to where you don't have to do that. Somebody else can do it for you, or we can creatively figure out ways to create video ads that don't involve you. So just realize that there's ways around it. Play to your strengths and know that you can have success no matter what. All right, lastly, number 6, and this is actually really important, but you should actually care about your customers and clients. Gary Vee talks about this all the time as well. Truly caring is a huge advantage. And most people say they care, but do they really? Saying it is easy. Doing it, not so easy. Do your actions map to that? Yes or no? You really should care. I know I do. I try and treat every single client I have literally like a family member or a best friend. That's why I don't lock people into long contracts. I don't believe in it. And you should really make sure that your actions match the fact that you do care. Because I'm sure if you're listening to this podcast, you care about people, you care about your audience, and you also care about your business. And so make sure that your actions match that. So to recap, you want to know your audience, know what platforms they're on, and you want to create specific micro content ads to reach them. You want to always lead with value first, and always. You want to always be testing your messaging, your audiences, your creatives, your landing pages, and everything you do. And then using data to make smart decisions. You want to commit to retargeting properly, smart retargeting, and playing the long game. You want to do you, and don't try and do things because you see somebody else doing it a certain way. Be you, do you, and know that you can have success doing that. And lastly, you want to genuinely care about your customers and clients and make sure your actions mapped to that. That, my friends, is episode 229 in the books. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or you want to get in touch, philgrahamdigital.com is the website, or at philgrahamdigital on Instagram. Feel free to send me a DM. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a great rest of the week, and I will talk to you very soon. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast. Please remember to subscribe and share this with all your friends. For show notes, more tips, and to learn more about Phil, please visit philgrahamdigital.com/podcast.